Let's bring back Newt Gingrich to discuss the GOP's prospects, which seem to be improving in November. Newt, thoughts?
Well, I think that the Republicans are likely to gain 4 to 6 seats in the Senate. I think they're likely
4 to 6 seats. We're hearing they could lose the majority in the Senate 6 months ago.
Look, I do a newsletter at Gingrich Productions that goes out twice a week for free. And 2 weeks ago, I wrote, everybody who was wrong in the spring of 16, who said Trump couldn't be the nominee, was everybody who was wrong in the fall of 16, who said Trump couldn't win the presidency, are the same people who are on TV right now. Why would you believe any of them?
But Steve Schmidt has been so right, you know, working all that work over the years.
All of the
I say facetiously.
All of the political analyst establishment and the talking heads have a bias of getting together and saying, this is what's going to happen. Now, if I were a Democrat and I looked at that poll today from Reuters,
that's 6
where the
point
Republicans
swing.
are up 1, where they used to be down 10 or 11.
15 at one time.
You know, I'd begin to panic, because if the Republicans are anywhere close to even on the generic, they could conceivably gain seats.
Doesn't impeachment hurt the Democrats?
Yes.
Because the Republicans, when you see them turn out still for these rallies for Trump, Newt, you've seen these crowds. People think impeachment, they're going to go out to the polls. I hope that guy says the impeachment, Congressman Green. I thought it was Al Green. Suddenly Al Green got into politics, but it's another congressman. But he said we're going to impeach the president. Articles of impeachment. That's going to drive Republicans right to the polls.
But it's not
Democrats. Some of them know that.
It's not just the Trump supporters. The average American who's not deeply political wants the system to work. They love what's happening with the economy. They love the fact that we have the lowest unemployment rate in modern times. They think it's terrific. Gallup just reported 65% of the country thinks that you can get a good job, highest number since they began taking that question. And so they're sitting there going, let me get this straight. The Democrats voted no on the tax cuts and would now like to totally screw up the economy by chasing an impeachment on a topic that doesn't seem to have any substance.
They got prison reform passed through the House today. That's a huge bipartisan issue.
I thought it was a big victory.
Huge bipartisan issue that likely passed the Senate. You got the part of the Dodd-Frank repealed. That's happening. You got all these judges, 21 judges on the circuit courts getting through. I mean, this is good stuff.
And you see really unusual things. I mean, you end up looking at, Van Jones, liberal Democrat, shows up at the White House as part of prison reform. Something you couldn't have seen a year ago.
I think the Kanye West effect is something we still haven't seen the full effect of.
They're trying to use that as a second example. I mean, Kanye West, within 3 days, black support approval of Trump jumped from 11 to 22
that's freaking them out.
On one talk. I mean,
how much of an increase in African-American support for the president or the Republican agenda would just devastate the Democrats? Like a 5% jump, 3%?
5 or 8 or 9% would be devastating. If the Republicans ever get to 20% of the black vote, it is virtually impossible for the Democrats to survive.
That's what they are truly petrified of that, and that's
they should be.
Racism. That's going to with the identity politics, right?
Right, and at the same time, what you have though is a president who can say absolutely accurately, this is the best situation in black unemployment in American history. Never been lower.
Don't you think it's a great time to be an American right now? I mean, if you're in business, the culture, there's lots of stuff happening in the culture that I'm not wild about. But as far as economic opportunity, it's a good time.
And the whole range of innovation and technological opportunity, I'm trying to figure out how to get every 8th grader this September to understand, literally, they have a chance to go to the moon, they have a chance to go to Mars. The world, this stuff's changing so fast. Young people ought to have a sense they're going to live in one of the most exciting generations in history, and that could be part of Trump's greatest legacy.
Right, optimism and positivity. Pelosi and Schumer, just to give you one more sell on the better deal motto, Newt, let's watch.
You're mean.
Thanks.
Instead of delivering on his promise to drain the swamp, President Trump has become the swamp. We want Republicans and their corrupt, big donor-driven agenda to get out of the way. It has given the American people a raw deal.
President Trump, when it comes to draining the swamp, has been a complete and total disappointment. The swamp has never been more foul or more fetid than under this president.
Newt, I know you love the fact that you used the word fetid. I know that's what you were thinking.
Well, first of all, the idea that we now have Democrats talking about the swamp is an enormous psychological victory. Second, the three top Democrats in the House, between them, are 278 years old. This is the base of their campaign this fall. Vote for people who've been around so long they know nothing.
You don't date them, Newt. You carbon date them. All right. Great to see you, Newt Gingrich, as always.